So this is another one of my inspirational publications, impactful publications that had a huge influence on me when I was a teenager. And this is a massively impactful book. And you might be wondering, well, for a massively impactful book, why am I looking at a dark blue cover? And that's because this isn't my original that I originally had. It's gone. I lost it many years ago during a house move, I think it was, and could never find it. And I had to buy it again, and I bought it off of eBay. And this is, I don't know, 20 years ago. I bought it off of eBay, and I'm glad I didn't hang around to get a new one because it goes for an awful lot of money now if it's got its slipcover on it. And it is Spacecraft 2000 to 2100 AD, published by Hamlin. And this is back in 1978. So I was 16. All right, I was 16 in 1978. As I've said before on my, you know, videos that I've done about things from my childhood, massive science fiction fan. And in 78, you had Star Wars, you had Blake 7, um, Battlestar Galactica, Buck Rogers were on their way. 2000 AD was out, and I was deeply into the science fiction, especially the space stories in 2000 AD. I was reading the Harry Harrison books, the Robert Heinlein books, all this. But this is one that really I read over and over again. And if I turn the page and you get to see this and you think, oh, if you don't know what this book is, you might be thinking, what on earth is he going on about? How can this be impactful? How can this be so influential? Well, let's turn a few more pages and you'll see. So, Spacecraft 2000 to 2100 AD, and it's by Stuart Cowley. All right, this is the guy responsible, and it's a fabulous idea. At the top, you can see Terran Trade Authority Handbook. And basically, in a nutshell, what Stuart did was he, via Hamlin, amassed an awful lot of science fiction paperback cover artwork. And he took them, and what he did was he created a fiction based around them. All right. So here we have the forming of the Terran Trade Authority, which was founded in 99. And if we turn the page, yeah, I thought so. We have a timeline, okay, which is it's quite funny now to look at it. This is an introduction about the TA, but you have things in 2015. The Martian Queen makes her first commercial passenger flight to Mars. All right, and then we go on and on and on. All right, there's nothing for this year, but in 2 years' time, the warp generator is perfected by Henri Devas. All right, and only in 11 years' time, we have a manned survey ship making contact with the Alpha Centaurians. All right, so basically, what Stuart did was he created this fiction inspired by the artwork. And what this book is, and each piece is exactly the same. On one side, you have a beautiful reproduction of this artwork. As you can see, A4 size, so a lovely, large piece of artwork. And then on the other side, Stuart has come up with a name for it, its history, occasionally one of the line drawings that you saw at the very beginning, and then, and this is what I loved when I was 16, who made it, its classification, what its drive unit was, its armament, what its defense was, and what its personnel was. Okay, so stat lines for that ship. Okay, so we're going to flick through them. What I was entranced by these illustrations. They were hugely inspirational to me because at the same time I was starting to scratch build and convert spaceships and the colours and the vibrancy of this artwork was massively influential on me. And this was the first time I think I ever learnt the names of the artists. So this is one of my favourites. Each time you've got the name up in the corner. This is Angus Mackay. All right. So let's go through them, and I'll pick out my favourites. So this is Bob Lazell with the cutlass. This one, I'd like to find the story that this artwork was done for. I mean, Stuart has it. It's the Sentinel Major, okay, which is a short-range defence ship. But this artwork is always intriguing because as it blasts off, you've got a very 1920s, 1930s car being blasted out of the way, and I've always wondered why that was there. All right, that's Jim Burns. Sometimes you get a double page spread for this Cyclops. This is Colin Hay. I've tried doing this before with some of my ships, which is to go with the very outlandish colour schemes. And I think it's a case of what works in airbrushed art doesn't tend to work too well, well, at least when I try doing it in a 3D model. We got the Partisan, Angus Mackay again. This is a lovely one. The Hornet, this is Tony Roberts. And yeah, this was great. And to this day, I've still made ships that are yellow and black. I don't know about putting the turquoise on the side. I don't think I would dare do that. All right, that's a classic one, the Warhawk, which is a general support ship according to Stuart. Angus Mackay again. It wasn't so much this; it was this ship approaching it with its bug eyes that I was mostly interested in. Then we've got the Skybase, Colin Hay again. And let me just turn the page. This is one of my favourites. This is the Fat Boy, a short-range defence ship. All right, Jim Burns. I've got a number of Jim Burns books, and this is in here. I love this. Number one, the organic look to the ship, but number two, the colour. This dark green with a yellowy green striping and everything. Fabulous. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favourites. These are really cute. These are the Minnows, okay, by Colin Hay again. Again, I don't think I would dare do a pink and purple striped spaceship. I think this was my favourite. This is the Manta, okay, by Bob Lazell, a mid-range weapons carrier. Gorgeous, gorgeous design and gorgeous use of colours, and the outlandish pirate skull and crossbones. I know there is a company in America that do very small, say about that big, printed models of some of the TTA ships. But I would love it if somebody produced, 3D printed, decent size, 12-inch ships. Because, yeah, that would be a thing. Stingray, Colin Hay again. Let's move up a bit. There we go. The Behemoth, Colin Hay. And then the K4 Interceptor, Bob Lazell, a very organic, almost rusty look there. These were really smart. The Shark by Angus Mackay. Again, love the lime green and the mid green. Yeah, the Piranhas, very cool. Tony Roberts. Brown Spaceships. Yeah, brilliant. Tarantula, a limited range defense craft. Basically, it hides under the ground and then there's a platform lifts up with repulsor lifts and then up comes the ship as well. Tony Roberts there. The Moray Eel, Angus Mackay. That's a lovely one. Courtesy of old Angus again. The Goblin. What is that? It's a long-range missile carrier. Alan Daniels. I think this is the only time Alan appears in this, with the Mobas. That's a very, very uh, well-known image. Angus Mackay again. All right. Colin Hay, another good one. Bob Lazell. Again, I don't know if I would dare try and put that amount of dots on a spaceship. And yeah, now the Interstellar Queen is Angus Mackay again, and you've got this like swan neck ship, and this makes an appearance a couple of times, so it must have been on a couple of uh, paperbacks, and there it is again. But it appears in one of the other books. This one, Angus Mackay again. Look, there it is again. Um, there. I'm sure this is an influence um, on Dave Gibbons when he was in 2000 AD drawing the Terramex story in Robusters. I'm sure this was an inspiration for Dave for the giant industrial robots that are in that story. I mean, they look very similar. The scale is pretty much exactly right. Let's show you the people for the scale. There we go. Angus Mackay again. This image I've seen in a Dandare story in 2000 AD. So I think the comic book artists stroke droids were owners of this book. Jim Burns again a nicely organic look to it. Always think this is an eye looking at me. Very small one, that Tony Roberts, private cruiser, is the Skymaster 28. Again, another famous one, Bob Lazell. You can get a model of that, but again, it's a very, very small one. We're nearly there now. Bob Lazell again. Tubeway bus. Goes from New York to England. That's a gorgeous one. Colin Hay. Again, I wouldn't dare paint a spaceship blue like that. This is one of my favourites as well, the Stag Beetle, which is an ore extractor stroke processor, Tony Roberts. It does look like a Stag Beetle. Yeah, like that one as well. The Gourmet, mine ore processing ship, Bob Lazell again. And this one, I love the look of it. This is Tony Roberts again. I love the look of it, but I love the fact that the whole starscape is green. Amazing stuff. Yeah, Angus Mackay again. Angus Mackay again. I'm not aware. I don't think there's ever been a collection of Angus Mackay's work, but you know, with these books, we pretty much got it, haven't we? Angus Mackay again. The City Ships of Alpha. Nice ghostly ship. Colin Hay with a ruined ship. Objects 2 and 3. Lots of space wrecks. That's a really nice one. Tony Roberts again. We're almost at the end. Okay, yeah. Just the thing about objects. And that's the end. All right. So that's the end of the book. And as I say, it was a massive influence on me. Yeah, I just used to read it over and over and over again and just study them and study them. I don't think I had the nerve to actually try and actually recreate one. I might have a go now, you know. But yeah, I hold out for somebody on an Etsy page or somewhere doing a 3D versions. So that's that. That's the book, minus its dust cover. I'm going to become coming back to this subject because this is only the first book. There are a number of them, and I've got them, and those ones I do have the dust covers for. So, yeah, stay tuned, and I will come back for them. Let us know below if you encountered this when you were little, and what did you make of it, and was it a big influence on you too?